Got it.
Yes, welcome everyone. Master your emotion and find your truth. So today is a number 45, and wow, I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I changed the name, not the master your emotion, but also find your truth and live with your own truth. Definitely, I just only added something because finding the truth is not enough. I would like to say from my perspective. So today is number 45. Like always, I'm just only giving the tiny guidance, tiny description around the number 45. So 4 is number of the foundation and 5 is number of the creativity and number of opportunity to grow and evolve. So let's go combine them together, and I would like to say angel, your guardian angel is around you and supporting you with that journey. By the way, if you would like to find more information about the angelic number, numerology, synchronicity, I'm sending you to the library. I don't know, the library. You can go to the Akashic Records, or you can go somewhere we're going to find a lot of stuff is online. By the way, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us today, because today I've got a beautiful soul. I met that soul last year. I was guided to go and have a podcast, and that was around the June last year. But anyway, we've got Damien today with us. Welcome warmly. And I would like to give you just only just only tiny description about you, and you can add something if I just only missed something really important. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay. So what I've got, I hope, and I'm that nothing's changed, but if that's changed, that's good because we're evolving and we are growing. So Damien he's a pioneer international business consultant, coach, consciousness hacker, and awareness teacher. Sorry, my tongue is tangling. Is that all, or you would like to add something more for my audience? By the way, welcome warmly.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be back again, Gabriela, and so nice to be here with
Yes,
you
amazing.
too as well. Yeah, so the work I do is about embodiment, and yeah, I'm doing I'm consultant as well for different leaders as well, because I've been drawn to work with really creating an impact on this world. So I'm specifically drawn to support people who are creating that impact, and that's really beautiful work. But the work I'm doing is really embodiment and then working with systems. And we were just talking before about systems. You're asking about systems.
Yeah.
And for me, I did a teaching just last weekend actually on systems, because for me, everything is systems. And then knowing how to access systems, how to create systems, how to manifest systems, how to bring them back into balance, and then how to read systems is really beneficial. And that's also what I'm teaching a lot of the leaders, is that how they can access, read systems, enter systems, because it affects how they present to their audience and how they manifest and how they create. Is it in alignment with creation, with the Fibonacci codes, or is there something out of balance? So what I do is I teach them how to be more in balance, and then how to read a system and how to bring it back into balance as well. So the work I'm doing is really about, I say, embodiment, but by working on my own system, then I can, through quantum entanglement, I can open those results up for whoever I'm supporting or whatever group I'm supporting.
Wow, that's amazing because I saw that stuff. I think you've been teaching last week, or that was a 17 or 18 or something like that. And that was a few, yeah. So I'm sure you're going to create much more, something like that in the future, so that people will have opportunity to jump on after this watch,
Sure.
because that would be something new for them,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So what is the life system about? Just only can you give that only tiny description? Because sometimes the people don't really quite understand. They understand maybe the life, even the life. What is the life? What is the
Yeah.
life system together?
So systems for me is everything is a system, just like this podcast. In the beginning, you came up with the concept, you had to create it, to birth it, to hold the space for it. So that is a system in itself. So this podcast is the system that you manifested. And then as each person comes on to be interviewed, and also the audience gets bigger, the system of the podcast is going to get stronger. So that is an example of one system, but everything is a system, and we can drop into the cellular system, we can drop into the brain, into the organs, we can drop into different systems for leadership, for teaching, for healing. And when you know, it's like the basic rules of the universe, you can enter the system and bring them back into balance and also go back into total flow. So how to enter a system for me is very important. That's the basics, is really how to enter a system, because I can come to, I don't know, I can go to London with great ideas and the system can kick me out, because it's like the system would say, who are you to come here and to change this field? Who do you think you are? Whereas if I have to go and teach something, I'll immediately go into the state of saying, okay, I honor the soul of London. I honor everybody there. I honor all the systems there. And I'm here to be open to receive the gifts of London. And also, if I'm in use, if I can serve for anybody, I'm also open to sharing the gifts with London. And that way I've entered the system in a way that's very honorable and respectful. And for me, it's never to change a system. I don't go with the information to change. I'm here almost in service, but I'm here opening up to the systems that will then, support me. And then if I'm beneficial, then I'll support that system. And that way it can enter a system without getting a lashback in a way, that doesn't create a ripple effect. I've worked with many different communities where they bring new concepts about food, for example, eating healthy, and then they set up in a specific country or town, and they can't understand why they're being kicked out. So, for example, if you go to a new country for food, for example, and you have great ideas for food and you have, you really do. So for me, how I'd do that would be I'd have to honor all the moms who cooked for their children, all the ancestors who cooked for their children with what the ingredients they have, and honor them, and then ask them for permission to enter the field. And at that point, then they will come to me and ask me, okay, Damien, tell me about what you're cooking, or tell me about the ingredients. So that way I can enter a system and I'll be embraced into a system. So everything is system. So you can use it in your business, you can use it with finances, you can use it with your health. So once you know the basic laws of the universe, you have the consciousness of how to transform systems, how to enter, how to transform, how to create, and then how to bring them up into balance again to another state.
Yeah, that's can I just interrupt you a little bit, because that brought me, and that just only remind me, like when I entranced to the UK around 20 years ago, I found myself, I just only came to the different country, so that was like I just only was facing the new system, so I didn't break that system of the UK. I just only came and I just only adapt. But also I know so many people when they're coming from the different country, that like a foreigner, they're coming and they are just only trying to change something. So that's why they feel lonely, and that's they feel like, oh, I'm not belonging here, or something is that's how I just only see that stuff. So definitely, yeah, we don't have to, like you just only said, Damien, we don't have to break it or just only change it, but we need to adapt and just only go, or let's say, beyond everything what doesn't serve us for highest good. Is that
To accept everything as is, and with no judgment. The key is always with no judgment.
okay?
And if I go there with, I'm going to change it because it's broken, I'm going to fix it, then I can get thrown out of the system. But if I go there really honoring the system, then the changes will come automatically, and they will approach you automatically as well, for sessions or for groups or whatever you're doing. So it's very, I could feel like you entered London in a respectful way. And I've worked with some other people who maybe, they had a gallery in certain parts of the world that worked perfectly, and they're very famous, and then they suddenly go to New York and it's not selling, nothing works. And
Yeah.
okay, why does it not work? I'd say, well, you're judging New York. So of course, New York is not open to you. It's kicking you out. So then when they change the mindset, then the system opens up and then the gallery works again. So that's just a simple way, but it's very simple, but it's very simple to fall out of it as well.
Mhm. Yeah, because you usually touch something like when they're judging, you just said that, like, let's go keep it that simple and that example around when they're selling that art somewhere, and then now they're stepping to the New York and they're being kicked out because that's the judgments around it. So where's that judgment come from, actually?
It's coming from ourselves, so it's part of ourselves. So For me, it's very important to accept, for example, if there's judgments in my system, it's coming from wounds in my system where I was separated from source.
Mm.
So the ego is based on the ego is healthy because it's going to show me where I have to do some work in my system, where things are out of coherence and balance.
Mhm.
And it's created from wounds from my inner child, from my childhood, or from my ancestors. So that's where the judgments are. And if so, for me, it's very important to accept my judgments, accept whatever's in my system, and simply observe it and not judge myself, not feel guilty, not feel bad about it, but simply say, oh, that the judgment is active in my system at the moment, and I'm going to observe it. And from that way, it's like saying to the inner child, I hear you, I feel you, I see you, I'm with you, you know, and then
Yeah.
that part will come back into wholeness again and the wound will transform at that point. So there's many ways to to address or to work
Yeah,
with.
because so many of people and so many of the souls is only blaming and judging the outside world and that matrix just judging, oh, because they're not receiving. So they're not going actually inside themselves and just only finding why is that happening all over the time. Why was I was kicked from somewhere? Yeah, that's completely this way. So how we can play the game of the life, how we can play that lifestyle to
So
be not kicked out.
you're not kicked out. So for me, it'd be very important to work deep within my own system and accept everything in my own system with no judgments. And to also then to do that with everything else around me. And as you say, inner and outer world is a mirror of me, you know? So if I'm being kicked out, there's part of me, it's me who's kicking me out, you know? If someone's stealing from me, I'm stealing from myself. So I need to work through the puzzle in a way, you know? Every wound and every trauma for me is multidimensional. It's never just in one place. So I call it like mapping, you know, I find the points. But how
Mm,
do I find the points is by opening up the system of the topic and giving space. And then all the points will come up. The root cause of the topic will come up. But it's usually connected to ancestral mom, dad's line, past life, the womb, birth up to now, or something I've experienced in from the collective as well. So it's multidimensional, really.
how we can work on the multidimensional state.
By opening up the system, by having a look at the
Oh,
system. The
wow.
system will always reveal what is the highest purpose, you know, what is the there's like a divine order. So if someone comes for a session or comes to one of the webinars I'm doing, you know, what'll open up is the system of the person. What is the priority? So it's say could pick the
Okay.
top 10 topics, and then it will resolve each of those topics. And then maybe that's it, it's closed, or else it's going to bring up more topics. So this, life is extremely organized. We have, I know when I was younger, I used to have this like 6 month, day plan, 6 months plan, year plan, 5 year plan, 10 year. And then I let it all go. And I realized, oh my God, it's now I'm more organized because the universe is organizing it for me. Of course, it's good to have the structural plan, but it's like the universe is incredible. I realized that the universe is designed to show, if I really go and flow with it, it's going to show me every single topic in every day, every single day, which I need to address and work on, and how to expand, and who's going to help me to expand. So it flows very beautifully. And we're meeting here because there's something happening here between us and with the audience. So we're all engaged in this journey together. So I'm really trusting of the universe, and when that inner core says take action, move, stop, ask that person, So this is really, yeah, important for me to trust that inner compass inside me. And the system work really helped me to do that more actually, of
Yeah.
how to perceive what's happening in me or around me, and then how to read what's happening within me and around me too.
Oh, wow. It's just like in my head, it's like, oh, intuition, inner knowing, higher self, angel, ancestors. Oh, well, that's all ranges when you pop up close to me and saying, okay, that's why I need that support to be able to read that map. That's from my perspective, of course. But what kind of I would like to say, maybe like that. What is really important to have a good system? I
So
mean, Yeah.
First of all, that's why I was teaching it last weekend. All the webinars are recorded because you're meant to, like, it's to repeat. So
Oh,
for me, it's pretty easy. Like when a topic jumps up, it's all systems at once. So it's a little bit overwhelming. But actually, if you learn to open up channels, say, okay, well, if you imagine like a mound of sand in front of you, and that is the topic, some of that sand will belong to my mom's line. So I open up that line.
mhm.
Some of the sand will belong to my dad's line. Open up that line. Some of the sand will belong from the womb up to now. Okay. Some of the sand belongs to past life systems. All right. Now that sand has got less. Okay. So now I can work with that very easily because I've opened up. Energy will always go where it belongs. So because I've energetically opened up the lines for it to go back to the origin, so as I'm working, feeling this topic in my body, automatically the universe will start sending it back to where it belongs. Energy only gets stuck when we send it to the wrong place or we're dissociated. The key is to be in the body, in the cells. The more we're in the body, in the cells, the emotions flow and the energy, the frozen trauma, the frozen moments in life will open up, and then the charge will go back to where it belongs. So the only reason it's there, it sticks, is because I was dissociated as a child. I needed to do that to survive.
Mm.
Now I'm an adult, so now I can feel it, sit in it, let it come up, let it brew in my system a little bit. And with the consciousness of the system work, say, okay, I know some of it can belong to my ancestral line of my mom, my dad's, past lives, myself, the collective. It automatically starts getting less. You can feel it and you can start reading it. Like you don't have to be like me, have a gift in that way. Like everyone I teach system work, they can do it
Okay.
because it's simple, if you know what I mean. It's very basic, it's very grounded, it makes sense, and it's simple to read. It's amazing. But it's almost like you never saw color TV and you only saw black and white, and then suddenly you see color. Now you can see, it's a new dimension that opens up. So we all have these abilities to read systems, but we forgot it. So when you meet somebody who knows how to read it and just sit with them, it opens up this remembrance and takes away the veil, and then you can do it too. It's very interesting how our spirits are. Like when it's truth, it just opens. That's what's
That's
so.
Oh, lecture, that's so amazing. But how we know that energy belongs to my grandmother, or that energy belongs to the Akashic record, or that energy belongs to my parallel universe version? How we know that stuff?
So you will, when you open up the system and you're aware you're open, you're just open.
Mhm.
It maybe belong to these different channels, these different places, okay?
Okay.
You will feel the energy moving. Or
Okay.
you will get some message, or you'll just sense somebody or something, or you may sense nothing, but it
Okay. That's good.
automatically is moving back. Sometimes, I just did a session now, and there was a lot of huge transformation. Now, I didn't get all the details. I'm open to the universe is doing the work, and I'm holding space, but I could observe that it's going to multiple systems. But
Mm.
because I'm not holding on, I have to know exactly which one it is. I open up the fields that you can have a complete transformation in a few moments. So there's no limits here. But if you need to know, you will know.
Oh, sorry. I just want to I froze myself because oh, because that was like a sounds like it's similar like when we're doing the constellation family healing and that kind of the things, because I remember when I had a session with somebody and when they did the constellation family for me, the modality of the constellation family, so a lot of energy, the love rejection was sent back to my grandmother because she was like a major, I don't know what to say, she was causing that, but she was just only was steering that stuff for whole the family. So I felt that energy as well. So I felt like I dropped something really heavy. Yeah, so that makes sense. So that was that isn't it? That was the system which I opened it for myself.
Exactly. Yeah. So what what came in recently was to step out of karmic history.
Mm.
Okay. So for me, the time for karmic history is finished. And we should step into being creator, a leader. That's what I'm getting very strong, being a creator and a leader. And yes, grandma's information is within me. Okay. So if you imagine like a river of ancestral life experiences of our
Mm-hmm.
grandparents or ancestors is within the DNA, it's in us. And
Yeah.
it does affect us. It does affect us. So you have two rivers, mom and dad's line. So what came in very recently was that, well, actually, I'm a creator. So I have the choice to step into being a creator. And also, because I'm the child of the ancestors and they didn't have this opportunity, I can share this knowledge with them. So I share all the wisdom with them because they had knowledge I don't have, and I've knowledge they don't have.
Yeah.
So, and your grandma, for example, she didn't do it intentionally passing it on. She passed it on because it was too heavy for her. She didn't have the consciousness at that point, and she had to pass it on. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you honor all the ancestors as creators, and they've all got a higher consciousness, and they all have topics that they brought into the system, then I can say, okay, as I'm a creator, I imagine I'm turning around and giving them all the knowledge that we have now. So they can step into being a creator themselves and they can resolve whatever they brought into the system themselves. And then there's a point where you can step out of this karmic river of wounds and stories and heaviness and secrets and burdens, and you step out of it completely. And then you can step into the river of consciousness. So all the great consciousness and wisdom of my ancestors, we have access to. And then this river of wounds, which they couldn't resolve, they can resolve them themselves now because I sent back the knowledge to each
Yeah.
one of them. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm honoring each one of them in their genetic places, all the missing children, all the missing uncles, aunts in the system. So I'm honor them in their place first, and I honor what they've done, and I honor what was too heavy for them. And I know that they can resolve it now. So I step out of it and I ask them to resolve it. And at that point, you will feel this weight of burden release from your system completely. And then what's in your system, your spirit can resolve straight away. And then you'll notice that your spirit, your essence drops into your body. And then you can, because for me, it's the end of karmic cycles. So I'm the creator. We're all creators now and responsible for changing everything. So I can choose to stop those cycles. And I can choose to create a new cycle. So when they're complete, I can close the systems permanently. And now I can step into a new level of consciousness in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
from this point, now I've moved to another state of consciousness. And now I've shared that consciousness with my ancestors. They can move to a new state of consciousness. And then they can share their new state of consciousness with me, and I can share with the children and
Yeah.
everybody around me. So there's a river, an ocean of consciousness now, which is flowing from the ancestors to me and from me to the ancestors back. And this way, I evolved, this way, they evolved as a collective. So
Yeah.
it's incredible to feel, for example, my grandma, I always felt heavy wounds. And then when I did it, I was like, wow, she's so wise. She's so much wisdom. I was like, wow, oh, my granddad has so much wisdom. It was so nice to be able to tap into the wisdom of each of the
Yeah.
ancestors. They're incredible beings, just like we are.
Yeah, that's definitely. Thank you for sharing. So how do people actually when you've been talking a little bit around it, I just when you felt that waves, anyway, that energy. So how the another souls will be know they finish the cycle of the karmic. So how
So,
they will be recognizing inside themselves. I know that they will be dropped, but any physical symptoms?
so what? So I noticed when I was guiding people through this, it's like it's a free will, it's choice, and it's like a choice to stop these cycles. And it's a choice to step out of these cycles. And it's a choice to step to allow your essence to drop into the physical body.
Mhm.
Okay. And from that point, you will feel, I felt very physical changes. Yeah. I felt my health improved. I felt different levels of consciousness come in. I felt patterns just dropping away. It's interesting. When I was doing it the other day, I was like, there's a huge palm tree outside, and one of the palms fell. And I was like, that's exactly it. It's not about letting go. It's about being whole. So the palm tree is only focusing on being whole,
Yeah,
and the energy is being given to the next palm and the next palm and the next palm. And then the old one naturally drops away. But it wasn't saying I have to get rid of the old palm leaf because it's dead, you know? No, it
that's true.
just fell away by itself. But all the energy was put into creation. So this is us. Where do we put the focus? Where do we put the energy? We can put it all into creation. And we don't have to worry about letting go. All I need to do is set the intention to be whole.
Yeah, that's so amazing, because now I've got a vision, and some people just watching us, they are saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm holding too tight," and that's why they're not feeling that adaptation. That's why they're not feeling the wholeness. They are just only strongly holding on something. They're not connected with the nature. That's a cycle of the nature. So that's why I would like to say, let it go and just only leaves, just only dropping and just only going into different places,
And
isn't it?
it's interesting. It's not even like see, if I say let it go,
Mm.
release it, then of course things pop up. But if you focus on creating a new system,
Yeah.
what doesn't serve you automatically, like the Fibonacci codes, its nature codes, will evolve. We're here to evolve.
Yeah.
So it's an ecosystem. I'm in front of the forest here. So it's like the forest is an ecosystem, but it's evolving together as the whole system, each tree individually, but also the collective of the forest. And we're the very same. And we are all the same. We're all in this collective field. And we have a choice as a creator to set the intention on wholeness, or to go into victim-based consciousness. I feel it's time to step out of victim-based consciousness. I feel it's time to accept that you're a creator, you're responsible for the whole thing, and let's create a new system.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I would like to just only give that. So we've got a system, we've got a creation, so everything is all together. So the basic one and the foundation is just only clear it out, everything what is only stopping us. And then we're going to recreate automatically without any, I would have to say, pushing and forcing, because everything will be happening naturally. That would be, like you said, a Fibonacci, and that's also beautiful frequency will be with us all the time.
So it's also, so for me, the first would be I need to honor my genetic place. So my birth parents, because then
Okay.
I am spirit coming in whole, and then I'm dropping into this body, which is the genetic field, genetic information. And I need to honor who I am in the genetics of my family system. I'm the son of my biological mom and dad. I'm standing in front of them. And that point is really important. The genetic place is really important for your spirit to be able to embody and
Mhm.
access this information, and then to clear what is in the cells. For
Okay.
example, if I'm taking care of my mom like a child, I will switch places and now I'm in the wrong genetic place. That's a big issue. I'll feel
Oh,
overwhelmed. And then I'm blocking the genetics of my siblings. So for me, it's very important, the genetic place first. What is my genetic place? Who am I to my mom? Who am I to my dad? In genetics, I just need to be who I am to each person. And the family system is another system. I'm teaching that very soon, is
that's amazing.
the family system is very important, because that's another more complex genetics, but it's full of diamonds and gifts. And it's very easy to cause a lot of friction, a lot of problems in the system if you're not in the right genetics, or if you're stepping between mom and dad, siblings, you're between systems, you will get a hit back, or if I try
Yeah.
to be the therapist for my mom and dad, they don't need that. They need me to be the son, and that's it. That's all I can be. So for me, it's very important to be conscious of how to be a parent, how to be in the family system, and then who am I to each one of them, and then how I can behave to each one of them is very important too. So for me, that's another key of the universe, is to really know, and you get a lot of benefits from it, to know how to be who you are to each family member in the system. That way, you will have huge transformation in the system. So that's another system, the family system.
Oh, it's so deep. It's so deep. Everything is like when we are just touching one point, we can go, we are opening.
That's
Oh,
multi. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
wow.
there's another part which is always very important as well on a soul level is that I need to know how to handle my anger
Yeah.
and my sadness or whatever's in my system. I need to know how to handle it consciously. And when I know how to handle that, then my spirit will allow me to take more jumps. So the basics would be your genetics, then being able to handle your anger, grief, shame, guilt, and then you drop deeper into the genetic systems, and then you can start moving up the ladder in a way, like move,
Mhm.
evolve very fast. But if you
Absolutely.
don't know how to handle the anger and resentment, your spirit sort of like will keep you there till you can manage it, because you need to manage it. So, for example, with anger, there's nothing wrong with it, but when it
Right.
comes up in the system, some of the anger is from different times and spaces, from different wounds. So I need to honor that the anger that someone triggered in me does not necessarily belong to this person. A little bit does, but most of it belongs to my childhood, whoever's in my childhood. So I allow it to go back to the origin and I take self-ownership of my anger. Then what I open in someone else also will trigger all their emotions from childhood anger.
Yeah.
You jump to me, but I say, no, no, that's not belong to me. I honor what's between us, but what's not belong to me is not belong to me. It's belong to your childhood with no judgment. And then the systems will start cleaning themselves, and you can really start to manage when your systems open, which they do. Life opens them. We get triggered all the time. That's how we evolve. So if I learn how to operate my system in a way, and bring consciousness to it, then I can be really skilled in life, and I can really keep evolving in life as well and work it in a very beautiful way for myself, but also the people around me.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh, I would like to talk and more and more and more. So if you would like to tell the people who are watching us what they can do, if you would like to just only put in the 3 points, if they would like to change their own system, so what they
Yeah.
can do, like they can apply that 3 points for every system in their life. What could be?
Okay. So first of all, let's say I would really, you know, when I say genetics, it doesn't mean that you good mom, good dad.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you have to even see them again. A lot of adopted people I work with, for example, they're not in their genetics because they feel, I don't know who my mom and dad is. And
Yeah.
I'd say to them, your spirit knows it's okay. Your spirit knows. And then the parents who brought you up are like your parents. So let's honor them like that. But your biological parents, let's invite them, mom on the left-hand side behind you, and you're standing in front of her, biological dad on the right-hand side behind you, and you stand in front of him. This
Mhm.
way, you will access the ancestral information, okay? You've access to the ancestors. Without that, you feel betrayed and you feel alone. You have no support system in life, okay? We need the ancestors in our system. We need to connect to the genetics for transformation. So the first step would always be, who am I to my mom and dad? And make sure I'm not going to be their partner, their twin. If I'm nursing my mom, I can take care of her, but she's not my child.
Yeah.
Okay. This is really important. Otherwise, the system's going to get blocked. So who am I to each person? Number one. And that would go for people you're working with. Your boss is not your dad, your mom, your staff are not your children. They're different systems. Okay. So for me, it'd be very important to honor, okay, what system am I in? What system am I entering?
Mhm.
Then, if I want to enter a system, the key for entering a system is intention. It's so easy. Intention. My intention is to connect with you now. Okay, that's it. All right. Fields are open.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then also to step out of the system. For example, if I'm going to work, or a lot of us are working from home. So it's very important for us to say, okay, I open the work system in the morning. We're probably working in our living room. I open the work system, but then I close it and then I go in my home system. Okay, this is key. This is really important because if you don't do that, you're always going to be in the work system and you won't see through the fog. You'll miss things. But if you step out, you give the system trust and it becomes a living system and it will start evolving very fast and it will grow. And then when you step in the next morning, you will go in with fresh concepts and then the system will give you energy back. And also you can recharge because now you're in your home system, especially as well for your partner or children. Because if they don't, the kids will feel it straight away. Oh, mom's in work system. She doesn't care about me.
I
Okay.
know that.
They will get pissed. Okay. So it's very important. The first people to respect in the system would be yourself,
Mhm.
your partner, your kid, and then your work. Okay. And then the kids will support you to go to work. So the systems are working with each other now. And then if you grow, always share that energetic growth with the kids and the family. Otherwise, they'll get jealous. They'll feel left out. So you
Mm.
always share the energy with your partner and your family, because then the systems, because you're evolving, but don't forget about them. Okay. Um, Also, it's like if you set the intention, to bring up one system at a time, and instead of doing 10 things at one time, see them as a separate, it's a living soul and say, okay, I'm going to be with this soul now, this system, I open it and I stay with it. Okay. And you can be with it for 5 minutes and you will see all the points that have to be changed very
Mhm.
fast and you can change it. And then you can step out. And that means that you've created space for yourself and boundaries. And also there's trust in the system. So if I'm working for you and you've done that with me, I will feel like you trust me and I trust you. If you don't do that, I will feel I can't fulfill your shoes and you don't trust me. So I'll end up leaving the company. I'll
That's
feel
true. Yeah.
betrayed, I'll never be as good as you. So there's competition in the system. So yeah, that's as simple. It's just see the way it's very grounded. For me, the system work brings mind, body, spirit as one together.
Yeah.
Because you're entering the way the universe works. You're going into the Fibonacci codes and bringing them consciously to each system and honoring every system individually with love and with compassion and respect. And it will respond back to you the same way.
Amazing. That's beautifully you said. That's beautifully, yes. Mind, body, spirit, everything needs to be coherent because otherwise there will be like a unclarity and there'll be lots of folks. That's true. But also trusting. I would like to say the trust is a foundation from my perspective of everything. When you're not trusting yourself, you couldn't go forward. You can
Yeah.
just only be like, oh. Anyway.
Well, you can open up, say, okay, I want to take a look at my system. I want to open up the trust. Okay, why am I not trusting? And then the system will show up all the topics related to that.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
And then the game of the life is going to begin. The system is just working, clearing out, and we can just only coming back and we can go and talk again. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I don't want to hold you so too long because I would like
Oh
to
yeah, it's a
also
good
keep the
time.
people just only feel the curiosity, or maybe they will be just only waiting
Perfect.
for another one, another podcast. Who knows? Would you like to just only say a little bit around, because always I've got the two last questions. For my guest is like what helped you or what supports you during the challenging time in your life? Any quotes, any books, maybe the word or maybe the wisdom from your ancestors you channeled? Or
So what's really helps me is that I have to say the key thing for me was the system work because I know when it's heavy, it starts to show me things and I know it's gonna pass.
yeah.
So I'm very good with embracing chaos. Chaos is the end of a cycle. And it's the time where I go for a walk in the park. I don't have to go so detailed because it's the end of the cycles. So I'm comfortable with this unknown feeling that it's okay, I'm in chaos at the moment. I can't go very detailed. I can't change system. It's only about being with myself. Time and space will pass and it will go back into order at some stage. I don't know when, but I'm pretty good with that. I get very comfortable with I'm comfortable with chaos and to give space when I need to give space. So this is very helpful for me was to know that I can trust that when there's a moment in my life I feel out of control, I'm in a dark place, I know it's the end of the cycle and it's coming, and I just need to be patient, and it's going to change at some time because energy moves. It always moves. That's
Yeah.
one guaranteed thing, you know? So I say, okay, I just be compassionate with myself, feel myself, try and be good to myself. And it's amazing when you go in like that, you can manage it in a much easier way. That is the most helpful way for me, you know. And when I was a little bit more conscious about the systems, I feel that was like the game changer in my life. It made everything more manageable and more coherent, and I could see I could see things in a different way. And you don't have to be like Damien to do it, you know. You can do it really easily with a little bit of consciousness. You can change your life really, and you can manage your life in a much nicer way. It doesn't have to be so dramatic or so difficult or challenging. You can really access it. It's interesting. That's the next webinar I just created, was about that,
Oh,
about
wow.
living life to the fullest. So
Yeah. Wow.
this is
Thank you so much. You said Live Your Life for the Fullest. My first Instagram page, and that was a Live Your Life Fully. And I'm just keeping that quote: live your life completely
yeah.
fully, without any doubts, any fears, nothing at all, because we are the energy. So nothing is touched.
Absolutely. It's because there's a twist. We twist the stories. So it's about untwisting the stories. And then you go back into wholeness. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So many, so many.
Thank you.
Where the people can find you, and yeah,
Yeah.
where they can sign up for your
Just,
workshop sessions.
just on my website, Damien Wynne, WYNNE, DAMIEN, or just on Instagram, you'll see me. And all the website, you know, the new webinars are coming up there. I'll be doing the Living Life to the Wholeness. That's the next one. And then I'm going to be teaching the family systems, because I think this should be taught in schools. I feel the system work should be taught to everybody. It's so easy and it changes your life. And you can, you know, the business leaders that I'm working with, like they're so skilled now, because it's not a burden anymore. Life's not a burden, or the business is not a burden. They're creating really consciousness, making difference on the planet, because they're connected to the Fibonacci codes and they know how to be in it. So I think all kids should know how to do this. I think everybody should know how to do the system work. It's really basic, and it's a fundamental shift in your life, that you're conscious, you're creating, you're aware of it when things are out of balance, and then you're aware how to bring it back into balance. So for me, that's a major key. That's the one
Wow.
I did last weekend, but I'll be doing the family one soon as well. That's really important, the family one, I feel.
I'm looking forward to the family one. I would like to sign up
Yeah.
for family one,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good.
And see my grandmother, what she done. Anyway, I'm joking about her. Sorry, my grandmother. Sorry, she's watching me and she will become back this to me. Anyway, thank you so much for accepting my
Thank you.
invitation.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Gabriela, and thank you everyone for your time and space. So nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.